Welcome everyone. Thank you for watching and joining me as I show you another painting video process of me doing a portraiture. This time it's going to be the great center, former NBA basketball player and multiple all-star and NBA champion, Shaquille Oneal. Listen, Shaquille O'Neal's a great person. He is a humorous individual, and I tell you what, his feet are very long, his feet are very big, but his feet matches his heart, his feet matches his personality. He's a big person with big personality and a big heart for people, and so very animated individual, very fun individual. So I chose to do a painting of him, and so to show off the process to you guys, I want to explain. First of all, I want to appreciate all my subscribers out there for supporting me here on D Weaver Art. I hope you guys continue to support me, and also I urge you guys to leave down in the comments below any questions or anything you want to share about portrait painting. I'm open to hear what you got to say and hear your thoughts. And listen, every artist approaches things different from other artists. So that's what it's all about, being creative, being yourself, being different. Dare to be different, dare to be out of the box. Paint what you want to paint. Do your process. It's always good to learn from other people. It's always good to get inspiration from other people. But at the end of the day, you must be motivated to bring about that creativity and show that work, and let your work speak, let your work resonate with the viewers, the people who are out, who are art lovers and curators, and people who have a fascination, not only a fascination but a super interest in art, particularly realism and portraits and landscapes. That's where I come in as an artist. I love painting, I love creating, I love drawing. And I tell you what, here's another video of me showing my process. Now, up until this point, guys, I've only just laid in some just basic line work. This is the line stage at this point. And I'm just only getting in the dimensions and proportions of the features, such as the eyes, the ears, the mouth, the nose, the hair. All that is being, this is a very important stage of the process in painting development. So what, as an artist, for me, I try to make it my aim and best to make sure I see the major shapes, the major values that are out there. And I do this by squinting my eyes. By squinting my eyes, I look through my eyelashes. And when I look through my eyelashes, that allows me to only see the dark shapes and a little bit of the lighter shapes. And it eliminates, the purpose of this, it eliminates all of the distractions, all of those intricate details of what I'm looking at, such as the photo or in reality or in life. I squint my eyes. It's very important if you're doing realism. And for me, I'm working and growing in my art to become more painterly. I want to get much better at that, and so this is my process. So every artist approaches different different subject matter from other artists, and so it's best to find your own way of doing things. However, the principles are pretty much the same. Listen, this is realism. This is not abstract art. This is just realism, but it's not photorealism. This is more of a painterly style that I'm showing you in this video. Now, as you can see, it looks very strange, but what you may not realize, I'm only putting in the shadow shapes. As I squint my eye, I see the dark shapes. So what I'm doing, I'm putting it in line to separate my lights from my darks. That's all this is. I do the same thing also when it comes to landscapes, but it's all this same rule is applied to portraitures or portrait painting. So at the beginning, what I did, I stained the entire canvas with, I think I used yellow ochre mixed up with some burnt sienna. Just put water, really got the canvas saturated. Then I applied the paint, thin amount of paint. I thinned it out with water. I'm not a oil painter, I am acrylic painter. However, I have painted in oils before, but I primarily use, when it comes to painting, I primarily use acrylic. I love painting in acrylic. Acrylics dry fast, and also they dry darker. As they dry, the color or the value tends to dry darker versus oils take longer time to dry, and therefore you have to, in other words, paint in layers. You lay that first layer down the first go around, and then you come back later and you add the second layer. Now acrylic dries a lot faster. Now you guys who are starting out painting with acrylics and stuff, so to make acrylics more how would I say, pliable, or to adjust with, I use, or to keep it from drying quick, I use a medium, a slow dry medium gel to slow the drying process down. So now, as you see the shadow side of the face. You see where now you have a sense of light. Where there's shadow, that gives you a sense of light. When you're looking at a painting or a drawing, you see highlights and you see shadow. You see form as a result of light. Without light, you cannot have form. And when that form is revealed, then as an artist, it's up to me or whoever you are to reveal, when it comes to realism, to be able to interpret your interpretation of reality and translate that into your drawing or your painting. And this is what I see. Someone else may see some other subtleties, but the key is to not create something photorealistic. Not knocking off artists at all. I have an art friend who does photorealistic type paintings and stuff, and they are very detailed and very beautiful. But for me, I prefer to go toward the impressionistic or more painterly loose style. Now, have I always painted like this in my as an artist? Absolutely not. But this is something I'm leaning toward because this resonates with me personally as an artist. So do not beat yourself up if your art is not appealing to you. Just keep painting, look at other art, find out what resonates with you, find out what style speaks to you, and begin to embrace that and begin to take those aspects of what you see and apply it, such as color, all these different things, and begin to only put that which speaks to you, that resonates with you personally, into your artwork. Because after all, when you look at the word art, you put H-E to it, you have heart. So he, the artist, or the artist, it could be female too, express your heart in your art. And when you do, people are gonna know that, hey, that person really that it's amazing how when your heart is connected to your creativity, not just out there just to be going through the motion, but really enjoying it, really having an excitement and anticipation, actual vision of what it's going to look like before you even start, before you even end. That's the thing that motivates you to the very end. And the same applies for me. I'm only speaking from my own experience. But like I said, right now, back to the drawing explanation on the process. Now I'm adding a little bit more darker value. I started out as a lighter value just to get down the shadow, and as you can see, there is the lines are slowly disappearing, and all you see is just the form. The lines are only there for a guide. These lines are only meant to show you as an artist, as a way to read and to establish logically these values, and these colors eventually going to become colors laid over this monotone or monochromatic underpainting, which I'm working on now. Is going to be overlaid with paint or the color. This is thin. I'm starting out with a thin wash of acrylic. As you paint from thin, it can look in some ways not too runny. Now that's the thing, over time you have to continue to paint. The more you paint and the more you do anything, you become more efficient at it, you become better at it. So what you do is you load your paintbrush, you got a little, what I do, you can do it the way you want to, but what I do, I have a little bit of puddle of water off to the side. And it's almost like a watercolor method that I'm using here. The surface is elevated on a easel, and I have a board in the back which you can see just for aesthetics for the video, and I'm using a easel is clamped down to the top. You can't really see the easel, but it's holding my canvas upright, straight up, and I'm looking at it perpendicularly at it. It's not like in an angle and stuff. So as you can see, that paint is thin, but it's not to the point where it's watery where it runs completely down. I put enough paint and I put enough water in it to thin it out, to make it more translucent, more see-through to some extent, really thinned out, but not to the point where it's runny. So that's my start out as far as putting in my shadow shapes. So I basically start with my shadow shapes, then I get a little bit more deeper into, and when I say deeper, I start going into a little bit more detail as far as value. At this point, I'm only putting down values. The value is only one color. I'm yet to put color down because I want to make sure this is the foundation of realism. You start out, you have to have an understanding of values. What is values? You hear me say that a lot, or you hear a lot of artists say value. Value is the lightness and darkness of a color. You can use any color. I could have done this in yellow if I wanted to, but it reads better with a more of a neutral color, earth tone or grays, and you use the different values. So values can range. On average, the eye can see a multitude of different values, but when it comes to two-dimensional painting on a surface, on canvas and stuff, or a panel, you just basically want to get at the minimum, I think 5 values. Now there are some artists that goes out to into a 9 value range. That's one color going from light to very dark. That's all you're doing. You're using one color going from light to dark, and as you see the shapes, as you squint, you see the shapes. Then within those shapes, there are values within values, or I would say there are value ranges within the shapes. You see values in the shapes. The shapes themselves have a value overall. Then you go deeper into that shadow shape and see other shapes that basically, it looks like line, but it's not line. It's just a separation of a color or the edge of an object using that. So you have soft edges, you have hard edges. And with me painting painterly, I'm learning how to create those different edges. So anytime you put down your brush, a stroke of paint, whether, no matter what the color is or what the value is, it's going to create an edge. Now the eye, depending on how much of a value shift, color, you could detect it. Like if I put down a red on gray, yeah, depending on how much intensity, then I'm going to see that red pop out. The red is going to pop out against that gray, because gray is neutral and red is more it's a more vibrant color depending on the intensity. What I mean by intensity, the intensity of a color is how pure that color is. A color that hasn't been mixed with another color, or it's at its strength. It's more vivid, it's more intense, and it just really strong and it pops out. So what I do as an artist, my way of doing it, I start out low value range and low, not low value range, but low intensity, because after this stage comes the color. All I'm doing is the underpainting. All this is the underpainting. So when I begin to lay down that paint, I want to start out with that less intense paint when I add color. Then as I continue to get into the details, which is almost the refining stage of my process, then I will start adding more and more intense color over the top of those muted and grade, no, I wouldn't say grade, but more less saturated colors. And when I do that, I'm able to allow the eye of the beholder, or the eye of those who look at my art, as to what to look at and what to actually try to think about. Wow, they look at and wonder, how did they do that? That looks very aesthetically pleasing to the eye. Is because I have an understanding now of the edges and the intensity of color and value. When you understand color and value and edges, it's going to take your artwork to another level. And I tell you what, with this at the end, I want to, before we even get there, I had somehow, some way, I didn't get a chance to share with you guys, as you'll see later on at the end of this video, I didn't get a chance to share with you guys how I did the background, but you will see at the end of this video how it all ended and how it all looked like. Okay, now with that same brush, the bright number 6 brush, hog hair brush, I am adding in the flesh tone to the thin wash of the underpainting. And now you're going to start to slowly see the life of the painting. That's the thing about color. It just adds life to a painting when you put color down. And the more life, the more intense or more saturated the color is, it makes it more vibrant, makes it more appealing to the eye. But this is another term in this stage. It's called the dead stage, that I'm just starting to come out of. And now I'm starting to add a thicker layer of paint over the thin wash of the underpainting of shapes, or excuse me, to see values within a shape. You know, at the beginning, like I had told you guys, I started out with the darks first, squinting my eyes, being able to see the darks. This basically gets down those patterns. It creates a pattern of lights and darks. Then as I go, I began to separate within the dark patterns and got darker patterns within the dark patterns, and just build off of that. And now I'm in the color stage, where I'm now finished out with the underpainting, and now I'm adding the color flesh tones over top of the underpainting. So all that underpainting basically is my roadmap, or my guide into the values that are into the values that I previously read by squinting my eyes and laying those same values over the top of the underpainting. So as you can see here, I am putting in the details of the eyes. So I took a number 2, I believe, round brush, or even maybe perhaps a number 4 round brush, hog hair bristle brush, and I'm putting in the highlights of the light hitting the underside of the eye, where the lid, bottom lid, eye opening is at, that ridge where that plane of the eyelid, bottom eyelid is at, just above the cheekbone. As you can see in that right eye, I just put that in. I used to, without having understanding of painting shapes, I would basically draw in and make like a football shape and make a little iris for a black dot or whatever, and then put a white dot in there for highlight. And then realistically and aesthetically, it doesn't work like that. Abstract somewhat, slightly, not too much, but that's my goal, to even expand the painterly style that I'm going for. And I really, at this point, I noticed, you guys, you may not know this or not, but in his forehead there's a dark area. I am going to get rid of that. That was some paint that I put down trying to test out something. It didn't work out. Apparently I just jumped to go to something else, and I'm going to get rid of that. It just does not look right. The thing is, for you guys out there that are watching, you want to improve your painting skills, is to be able to, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but I want to make it clear that if you want your paintings to take on that more realistic and more loose type of paintings, learn to squint your eyes to be able to see the bold shapes, the big shapes, the darks and the lights, and just paint that. And all painting is basically painting shapes with color and value. That's it. That's it. Shapes with color and value, along with edges, hard edge, soft, a variety of edges. You can learn to let go, learn to let loose of the edge. At this point, you see hard edges around the head, the top of the head, the neck, the ear. That's a hard edge. But over time, as unfortunately, once again, I did not in this video share the process of me putting in the background, but the background basically at this point in the painting is just only the yellow or the underpainting from earlier. It's really, at this point, I'm really pleased aesthetically of what I'm seeing. However, there's still a lot more to adjust, and that's another thing about an artist and painting realism. The more you paint, the better you get. That's with anything, but it's a constant changing. You don't want to get too far in your process to where, oh man, I went too far into what I was doing and now it just looks all wrong. That's why it's really good to stop, look at what you've done from a distance, take a break, come back, and then you see what just jumps. It seems like your brain needs a break. You need to take a break sometimes when you're creating like this. Take a break, move away, walk away from it for a period of time, maybe 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Not too long, but just give yourself a break. Then come back and then start the process to go and just spend some time looking at your model, whether it's in reality or whether it's from a photo. Just look at your reference, look at your painting, look at your reference, look at your painting. What's wrong, what's working, what's not working. Yes, evaluate your process, evaluate your painting, your artwork, and see what needs to change, what needs to adjust in the process itself. So what needs to shift? Do you need to make that edge more softer? Do you need to make the edge more harder? Do you need to make that shadow shape more lighter? A lot of the it's just learning how to look, and learning how to see as an artist takes time. You just something, a skill that has to be developed. And the more you paint, the more you do it, then you'll begin to see those things that you didn't see at first. It become more apparent and more certain. It just pops out at you. Hey, I see, I understand now. I know now what to do with that. And I tell you what, it's fun. Now, if you notice, I don't know if you notice, that there is actually a hard edge from that nostril all the way to the cheek, the top of the cheek there in the shadow part. There's a light area where the light's hitting, and then you got the bottom of the eye or that eyelid. There's a like slight dark shadow part. That's form, but I'm not really liking that hard edge right there that's going along in the dark side part of the painting. So over time, in time, I am going to soften it just slightly, because light also exposes and reveals the planes of the surface, the planes. So if you got light that's reflecting off a lot, that means that light is directly shining and being shunned on that perpendicular, actually perpendicular facing the light. Now, as the surface goes away or comes toward, it's going to cause a slight value shift and make it more a little bit darker, because now you're not getting that total reflection off of the light itself. And the more it goes away, moving away from the light, the darker it becomes. And so this is what causes the artist to be able, when an artist understands and knows the anatomy of light, because on a two-dimensional surface, the greatest way that you as an artist can produce a realistic aspect of artwork is to know that if I'm going to create light or have a sense of light in my paintings, I have to understand basics of light anatomy. What do I mean by light? You may say, Deidre, what do you mean by light anatomy? I'm talking about the anatomy of light. Yes. When it comes to art, light has highlight, it has middle value, it has shadow, cast shadow, it has reflective light, and so forth. When you understand this, then, and you add color temperature in it, variations of color temperature within the same value, oh man, you are on your way to just aesthetically pleasing, realistic, painterly types of paintings. And that's where I'm at. That's what I'm excited about doing. And so I tell you what, I expect and I'm hoping to do more videos like this, and just talking with you guys and just sharing with you guys, encouraging you guys, get out there, pick up a brush and paint, and just get going with this. And I tell you, it's really fun. And be inspired. Get out there and paint. Paint what you love. Paint what speaks to your heart. If you don't have a process, learn. Look at some videos. Watch. Read books. Get the skills that you need. Go attend some workshops. Find someone who can teach you some of the things that you want to do. And just practice and practice and practice. And then you'll begin to find that that which resonates with you, and be true to yourself. Always be true to yourself. And never try to copy, never try to emulate someone else. However, we can be inspired by others. We can be motivated by others. But at the end of the day, be yourself. And also, get a good equipment. That watered down cheap stuff is not going to get it. And if you're out there using that, hey, if that's where you at, that's what you can afford, you're not all that serious with it, hey, go ahead, buy all you want. But if you're serious about the quality and aesthetics of your artwork to get better, you got to start getting better quality paint, better quality brushes, and understand the principles and skills of drawing and painting, how they work together, and put out some good, realistic artwork, and artwork that resonates with your heart, your convictions. All this, like I said, once again, all you doing as an artist is looking for the large shapes, painting within all shapes, the different values. There are values within those shapes. Even within the light shapes, there are values within them. And all you're doing, there's no line, it's nothing but a shape. You put on the brush and paint, and you got different sizes of brush, and you loading your paintbrush up with that paint, and you're applying the paint to the surface, and all you're doing is adding a value of color down, and you're basically painting shapes. And the more you do it, the more, and when you come up close, it looks kind of weird. But when you go further away, your brain puts it all together. And that's impressionistic. You're painting, there's a lot of realistically, there's variations in that style, but that's where I love impressionist style types of paintings. They're more abstract in some ways, but I'm trying to shift into that more and get a little bit more elusive. It's just where an area where, but right now I'm really loving my development as an artist when it comes to painting portraits. So I'm still using the paintbrush that I was started out on that jersey, and just continually breaking up the paint. And when I say breaking up the paint, I'm talking about different shades of that color into the jersey, and putting in some shade values. And when I say shade values, where sometimes the light or the wrinkles of his jersey show it to make it more three-dimensional and keep it from looking in appearance of being flat. So now I had told you guys that I wasn't going to show you or I didn't have the video where I was putting in the background. Well, guess what, guys? I got it. Here's the video of me putting in some brush strokes of the background. This is something really is more, I'm thinking about incorporating this a little bit, blocking it in a little bit before I start with the portrait painting the next time I go about doing a portrait painting. But on this one, I usually do the background last, but I'm thinking about changing that up. But that's what I'm doing at the moment, blocking in the background with a couple of brush strokes. Now, if you pay very close attention, I got some of these, the color is fixing to change in the, not the value, but the color temperature. You got a warm gray and a cool gray. This is a very fun and point of the process of doing this portrait painting is putting in the background, because there's really no detail in that. So with that flat brush, I'm just putting in them brush strokes with the different shift in color temperature with each gray, and it's just all over the background. If you squint your eyes would not even be able to tell the difference in the temperature. That's the whole point. It reads good. It reads as one color. However, if you look close or come in closer, you can tell that the color in the background is not one color. And what this does, it causes to make it more aesthetically appealing to the eye, because it ain't just one color. I want to encourage you guys to don't forget to hit your notification bell, and also like this video and share it with your friends and family. And once again, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you got something out of it, and that you be inspired to pick up a brush and paint, do some drawing, some artwork. God bless you. Thank you for watching. See you next time.